So they just hired David Culley. He's 65. He's been in the NFL 27 years as a coach. He's never been offered a coordinator job. That's the new coach. Tim Graham, who covers the Bills, a Buffalo sports writer, chatted last night with somebody who worked closely with David Culley when he worked in Buffalo. Tim Graham said, "What kind of a head coach do you think he'll be? He's an awesome person." Silence. What about as a coach? Terrific guy. What impact did he have in Buffalo? A great guy. Silence. Folks, late bloomer is overrated. In comedy, there's one exception, Rodney Dangerfield. The great comedians, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Seinfeld, Jon Stewart, were noticed in their early 20s and crushing it by their late 20s. In American Idol, ever notice the stars are young? There are no late bloomers. John Madden would be one of the all-time great coaches, but Madden, former coach of the Raiders, had an intense fear of flying. So he retired early to be a broadcaster where he took a Winnebago, the Madden mobile, around the country. John Madden was brilliant. He was hired at 32 as a head coach of, at the time, the Raiders, a marquee franchise. Nobody hired people in their early 40s. Madden got it at 32. Andy Reid, a head coach at 40. Belichick, 39. Saban, 36. Urban in his 30s. Tomlin, early 30s. Don Shula, early 30s. Everybody in America, every industry, mine, yours, NFL, is seeking great young talent. Nobody slips through the cracks for 35 years. I'm sure he's a terrific guy. This is a bad hire. Never been offered a coordinator. It just doesn't work that way. It just does not work that way in the NFL. Sean McVay had teams vying on him. Shanahan, teams vying on him. Tomlin, Shula, Belichick, Andy Reid. That doesn't mean you can't be fired. It can be a bad fit. Pete Carroll was. He got hired again. He was fired. He got hired again and again. Like, come on, man. This is the late bloomer thing. And I get it. Maybe this is a bad organization that just kept hearing no thanks. That's what happened here. Houston, people wanted Eric Bieniemy to get it. He should thank his lucky stars he didn't take it. He was smart enough to not take it. This is a bad organization. They were left with this coach. This was not their first choice. They got 2 words for the last 3 weeks. No thanks. And you're wondering why Deshaun Watson wants out. This is what they get. He's a nice guy. A lot of nice guys. Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
Well, we're here in Los Angeles, and the Rams were not the team that we talked about quite as much as we did about the team that didn't do as well, which was the Chargers, because they have their franchise quarterback. And the Rams franchise quarterback, Jared Goff's position as the starter, is not very secure heading into the 2021 season.
I heard this.
There are rumors that he could be moved this offseason. But if he is not traded, there will reportedly be an open competition in training camp between Goff and his backup, John Wolford, for the starting job.
Okay, so that's fine. Why does this make the press? It makes the press because the Rams wanted out, because the Rams went to Goff's agent and said, hey, we did you a solid. Take a haircut on your neck. Take a haircut now. Let's redo the contract. The agent said no, and so they're going to embarrass the client and put listen, I don't have a problem with doing this, but why does it make it out? We always say this. Stories get out because somebody wants them out. Goff doesn't want this out.
No. And I mean, when you think about it, and no disrespect to John Wolford, but it's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jared Goff is obviously better than Wolford. Anytime a backup quarterback comes in and does anything different than the starter does or has some sort of spark, everyone falls in love with the backup quarterback. It happens every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time. Unless it's just an absolute superstar. It's Patrick Mahomes.
Ryan
but
Fitzpatrick.
If Patrick Mahomes wasn't playing that well, there would be some way that Chad Henne he would have some fans.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is the best backup quarterback in the league. A third of the NFL is vying for Matt Stafford. Nobody's vying for Ryan Fitzpatrick. We fall in love with the backups, but there's a reason they're backups.
Every single time. But to your point about his contract, Goff will take up $67 million in cap space over the next 2 seasons. He has a cap hit of $35 million next season, $43.325 million in fully guaranteed payments due over the next 2 years. The Rams would face a $65.2 million cap hit if they move on from Goff this offseason. So, yes, they're very tied up with this contract. Now, I didn't hate this contract when it was first signed. Everyone kind of freaked out about it. You have to pay your franchise quarterback. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
But you also have to perform if you're the franchise quarterback as well. And if you're going to need a bunch of pieces around you and you're going to basically handicap the franchise moving forward, then, it might be in your best interest to wiggle around. Now, again, it's not our money we're talking about here, so maybe if we're Jared Goff, we're like, no.
Right.
We're not doing anything. I earned this money, and this is what you made me. You chose to give me this contract. You guys figure it out.
By the way, if I take less money and restructure it, and in a year you don't like me, then I go somewhere else, and I've given up that money, and I never get it back.
Yeah.
So I get Goff's and his agent's position.
Exactly. So Phillip Rivers is retiring, and the Colts have to fill their starting quarterback position next season, and owner Jim Irsay is looking forward to that opportunity.
It's not, how do you solve the quarterback situation? Boy, is that a tough problem. Isn't that going to be hard? No, that's opportunity. I see this as opportunity. It can go in a lot of different directions, and we just have to make sure we go in the right direction without setting ourselves back as we pursue the new quarterback frontier.
Can I get that chair?
I know.
I just realized I needed to upgrade my home studio.
Very Game of Thrones.
It was. Well, it's the Iron Throne. He's right. They have a wonderful opportunity here, and they have to get it right. They are a team. I would even put them slightly ahead of. Well, yeah, I would. I would put them in slightly ahead of the Dolphins because they made the playoffs this year. So the Colts are in a position to win right now. They have everything in place. They just need a franchise quarterback.
Oh, yeah, there's no question. And they'll, it's interesting with their contractual situation. Do they want to, when you're in that Super Bowl window, and they are because they're really good and really young and really talented, do they really want to draft a quarterback and grow with him for 3 years? Or do they want to go in the market and get a Garoppolo or Stafford who have their issues, but you don't have to teach them how to play quarterback in the NFL?
If I'm the Colts, I'm going all in. We talk about Super Bowl windows all the time. We talked about if their Super Bowl window is open, halfway closed the other day. It's open, but it closes very quickly. A lot of things change very quickly. I mean, the 49ers were just in the Super Bowl, and now they're talking about moving off of Jimmy Garoppolo. Things change very quickly in this league. They're 9th in scoring, 10th in total offense, 10th in scoring on defense, 8th in total defense. They're set. And they have some stars, Michael Pittman, Quentin Nelson, Darius Leonard.